Alright, today's Sunday. I'm just going to go out and run some errands, and then we're going to go back to the garage, hopefully get that motor pulled out today. Had a train of thought last night, so just going to run out and see what there is I could possibly pick up. And it's kind of an ugly day out. It's cloudy. It's nice out, but it's cloudy because it's a long weekend this weekend. And I talked to Aubrey about maybe taking a trip out to the mountains because I haven't been there in forever. But apparently it's not going to be the case, so let's go get some of this shit done and then get outside in the garage. Well, it seems like Tomcat already got his first mouse of the day. I did run around, pick up some things today that I need for the garage. More gloves. I got this fatigue mat to kneel on while working on the quad. Also picked up some aluminum MIG wire because I got a spool gun coming in for the ESOP Rebel. Some white lithium grease for that actuator, and some assembly lube when we rebuild the motor. Before we get started on removing the engine from the Arctic Cat, remember yesterday, or the last video I should say, where we talked about buying a Dial-A-Jet for the Arctic Cat? After I started talking about that, a light bulb clicked in my head. I had to dig deep into the abyss in my garage and dig this out. There's a few things in this box from the ghost of Arctic Cat past. This is the original Dial-A-Jet I had, but this isn't the style I'm going to use. This one here, can make some slight adjustments here, but all it has is this tube kind of got melted on the exhaust. Where's the other end? It's not very waterproof because that's got to go around the intake, and then this rubber boot goes over top, and then your breather line goes in there. But when you go submarining, well, it likes to intake water. And I experimented with the Dial-A-Jet, or should I say, not Dial-A-Jet, the Dynojet carb kit as well. Yeah, the one I have been thinking about getting is definitely a waterproof version, not like that one. I think it's like $229, and it has a dial on it that, you know, says lean or richer, so I think I'm gonna go that route. That being said, let's start undoing all the wiring. I guess we'll start with the exhaust. I'm going to drain the oil afterwards once I get up on the bench. I could drain it now, but the drain plug's underneath where the jack is, so I'm just going to vacuum suck it out afterwards. Let's get started. This part may look overwhelming, but really isn't. The carburetor we're going to leave with the frame itself. Same with the intake boot. I'll most likely leave that as well. That way we don't have to disconnect those lines. And we don't have to disconnect the throttle cable by leaving the carburetor intact. There's a few wires right there, a few wires up top, a few wires coming off the stator and one's off the starter. And then basically the bolts bolting it in, out she'll come. Kind of hard to see, but that front U-joint on the drive shaft is toast as well. Well, everything I think is out except for the motor mounts that we're gonna do right now. So you ever have one of those moments where you gotta stand back and then think about it for a second and then be like, what the fuck were you thinking? Yeah, that's just pretty much what happened. The engine bolts out. They were heavily rusted in there, so they didn't want to turn. That's my fault because I didn't put any kind of grease on them when I put them in. So the engine is half out right now. I gotta kind of turn at an angle there because I gotta clean up my mess and then get ready to pull her out. But I want to take it out this side, but because of the belt cover and clutch and everything else, can't go through the frame, so I started disassembling the bolts for the front differential, and then, you know, I couldn't get the bolt out because the A-arm's in the way. And I got thinking, 10 years ago I had to pull this engine out, and I didn't have to do that, so what the fuck am I doing wrong? And then instead of looking at the obvious, which I should have looked at in the first place, I decided, well, if the belt housing isn't going to go through that way, then obviously the engine has to come through the other way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean up my tools first, and then I'm going to kick that motor out. Oh shit, we're almost there. We had cleared it. Still got the carburetor hanging down in below out there. Make some room to get the engine on top. Now that's a beautiful sight right there. I'm not going to lie though, almost blew a gasket lifting that motor up there. When I put it back in the quad, definitely going to get some help. It's freaking heavy. Pretty soon the journey will start. Gasket kit in the piston. Look at the machining on this bad boy right here. How many pistons do you know come in their own little bag? Can't wait to install that sucker. This gasket kit has the valve seats, or seals I should say, which is probably what's wrong with this engine. Either that or the oil rings. We're going to do a leak down test on it, probably tomorrow or whatever, and just to see if the compression's still good. I mentioned this before though, but getting new rings from Articat was more expensive than buying that aftermarket piston. And that came with the rings. What would you rather have, the factory piston or an aftermarket piston, which is way better quality and cheaper? That being said, it's motherfucking beer time. We got some fat fucking friends. Fat fuck ale. Alright, it's motherfucking beer time. Let's try this New Belgium Brewing Fat Tire and Friends. I like to call it Fat fucking Friends. Fat Funk Ale. Might as well just say Fat Fuck Ale. Sounds better. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's got some bite to it, alright. Oh, drink enough of these, I'll be a fatter fuck than I am right now. Ooh, it's not bad though. I like it. Glad the engine's out. Lots of work ahead of us yet. A lot of work ahead of us yet. I thought it'd be done, this project, in a month. I'm probably looking at least another month from today. At least. There's a lot of stuff. I ordered a lot more parts. This little rebuild on the quad's probably going to ring in about $2,500 by the time everything's said and done. Maybe more, maybe less. Just kind of going on what I'm seeing, what I need to replace. This should keep the quad good for another few more years. Anyways, ooh, beer burp. I'm going to get going. If you guys have any questions or comments, post them below. And I want to thank you guys for watching the build. The next video, I'm not sure what we're going to get up to yet, but we'll figure out something. I'll talk to you guys later.